So it's towards the end of March now, and we're planting these potatoes no dig. So all I'm doing is putting the trowel in and then moving it forward, putting the potato chit upwards, so bare bit down into the hole, and then just fell over, and then just covering it up. Same for the next one. So trying to disturb the soil as little as possible. So popping them in and covering them over. So roughly about 12 inches in between. These are kestrels and they're second earlies. So in they go. And it makes planting potatoes so much simpler. And then as they start to come up, we will cover them with some compost. So I haven't composted this soil since last year, so it's only got what's left over, which isn't very much, so we'll put a thick layer on top. But if you have a look back here, we've interplanted the potatoes with the field beans, so we can shortly cut those So we will cut those down and add them to the compost as and when we need them. So I'm just going to dip some holes for the onions. So I'm doing about 6 to 8 inches apart. And this is a nice raised bed that we had sweet potatoes in before. And then I've got these are Bedfordshire Cambridge onions. I just take them out the cells, drop them in the hole, little press, and that's it. So I shall do this all the way along this bed. Put those little roots in, and you can see I've multi-sowed these, so there's about 3 onions in a blob. And they're put in a little bit deep, which is fine. So I'll do this row, and this whole bed will be onions, and I'll show you a picture when we finish. So I've got some Bedfordshire onions, Alice Craig, and some Sturon, so I'll show you at the end. This is my dibber, which I love. I think it was once a spade or a fork that broke off, so I rounded it off, and it's fantastic. It's one of those tools that you can't be without. So if you have a list of tools, this is one of my #1 plants.
Keep going.
This is my #1 tool. So in here there's a number of seeds, 4 or 5 in some of them, and as they get bigger, if there are too many, I'll just pull them out and use them as spring onions. It's starting to pour down with rain now, and I'm going to net them, and it's not because the onions need netting, it's because the foxes like to sleep on this bed, so it's just to protect it from any foxes or squirrels that would also like to dig them up. So I'm going to quickly now just cover these up, and I shall see you again shortly once the rain has stopped. So these are some climbing sugar snap peas. They're a little bit leggy, but they'll be fine. They need to go in. And they're not Oregon, they are... It's a French climber. I haven't grown this one before, so it'll be good to give it a try. And I'm just going to put it along here. And in the same way you saw me planting the onions, I'm just going to put them, dibber, make a nice hole, about 4 inches-ish, doesn't have to be exact.
See you in a minute.
Along here. So I'll just show you how to pop those in, and then take a cell, put them into the hole, just press them down gently, and that's it. I'll just get another one. So pop them into the hole, press them down gently, and that's all I do. So I shall do that all the way along, and I'll do it both sides. I may put some string just to help them come along, but this I got free from the wood chipping people. It's some of the fencing that they have around the trees when they're planting new trees or taking the watering down. So they gave me a couple of these and I put them up. There's some fencing panels, which is great, and it does the trick for these wonderful peas. So I'll show you the rest when I finish them. The other thing is when you're putting the plants in to the hole, if you slightly angle it that way and press them in, it encourages them to grow up the fence as well. So that's another way of just helping them. So as you put it in, if you can just slightly angle it like that, that will help them, encourage them just to climb up the fence. So that's all you have to do. They're planted and they're all fine. And as I said, I'll come back and show you the 2 rows once I've finished. It's a lovely tray of spinach seedlings going in. So just making small holes, popping these out then and putting them in. Little pluglets in there, gentle push, and that's it. I'll do another row here, I think. So that's 1 row of spinach in, and these trays are the Charles Dowding 60s, and I'm not sure what I think about them yet, because I'm not sure that there's enough soil. It's okay if you want to plant this big, they're lovely, but anyway, I shall carry on trying them out before I take a view. So that's the spinach in and planted now. I've got some more at home because we didn't quite have 2 rows, so I shall put some more in. I'll put these sticks in because I'm just going to cover them with some of this thermo fleece just for a few days until they acclimatise and get some roots. So under here is some bulb fennel, planted exactly the same way as the spinach, just dibbing holes and dropping the plantlets in. I've put this cage over it just because of any birds that might try to dig it up, and I put a little bit of fleece over the spinach just until it settles down. So we've put some spinach in, some bulb fennel, some podding peas, and again this is up just to stop the pigeons coming along and eating the lot. We have our potatoes in. We've got 1 row of pink fir, 5 rows of shallots, 1 row of kestrel and 1 row of marfona. So, and they're the field beans, they're still in, so I'm leaving those in until we need the space. And then further up here we have the sugar snap peas, and I found some glass, so I put that up here as well with some canes in just to hold it in place. That will give it a little bit of protection and warmth, and in a few days I'll take it off because I won't want the sun to scorch, as if we ever get any sun, the sun to scorch the plants, but I just want a little bit of protection from the wind just until they settle down. So these are the 5-foot sugar snap peas, and we planted in here our onions, our main crop onions, Stir-on, Alice Craig and Bedfordshire onions. And I didn't show you at the time, but I put some sweet peas in as well, and they're looking a little bit sad. These were an autumn planting sweet pea, but when I come down next time I'll just tie them up and help them along the fence. So that looks good. So it's been a busy day today with all the planting, but it's made so quick by that method of just digging holes, popping the plants in, and that's all you do. The broad beans on this side are looking wonderful as well, and we've now cleared the autumn crop from this part of the plot, so we will just put the 2 inches of compost on. That little row of green is some chard that may or may not pick up to give us a little crop before I plant the spring chard. So I've left it in anyway. We're not in any rush for that space, but over the next day or so we will put the compost down and get ready for planting on this side. So that's the total of plot 1, which is partially planted up now, and just behind the broad beans here are the poles that you can see for our runner beans, but we're not going to be putting those in for some time yet, so these broad beans will be well and truly out. And just in this part of the plot are the autumn sown planted onions. Some are from seed, so these are from seed. You can see that there are 3 plants there, and then the individuals towards the back are from bulbs, from sets, just to see how they come out. Really, it's a bit of a trial whether it's good to sow autumn seeds, onions from seed, or sets, because I've had not very good onions. They don't last very long, and they go to seed, so I haven't had a lot of success with autumn sets. Anyway, so happy gardening everybody. If you've enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing, it's free. And next to the subscribe button is a little bell. Press on the bell and select all, and that will notify you of any future videos that I do. Any comments or questions, put in the box below, and I hope you join me for the next round of planting and growing on our allotment. Until then, happy gardening everybody. Bye.